What if it was your job to go through this over 500 pre-21 Morgan dollars, grade each and every one of them, and then be responsible for selling every single one of them? Would you like to do that? Well, I did that. That was my job this week and part of last week. And when I had some free time, I sat down and I went through these and I graded them. And believe it or not, all of these here in these stacks, I considered cleaned or calls. These I graded and separated and put into their holders. So we're going to talk about these. We're going to look through some of these and talk about the grades a little bit and the difficulties of pricing and to buy this many calls over amount of time. And then you have to sell them as problem coins, even though some of them may not be problem coins to some people, but you still have to sell them in your good conscience as a dealer as what you think they are. So I have to sell those as the expert or the coin dealer at, because that's what I'm considered. So I have to sell them with what I feel the grade should be in the condition. So my name is Daniel. You're watching Coin Help You. I own a brick and mortar coin shop and we buy lots of silver dollars. And this is probably 2/3 of our inventory here that I'm going to talk about that I had to go through. But first, this is my Coin Help You community. I'm getting a lot of emails, guys. Please use our Coin Help You community to seek help for coins. Post your images, questions here. Helps me out a whole lot if you do it over here. You can register for free. Here's how to post a new topic. If you're interested in buying coins and some of these coins, you come over here to portsmoutcoinshop.com. It helps support the channel. Man, look at silver, $29 an ounce. And gold is heading back up to, looks like 2,400 maybe. And platinum, look at platinum, it's over 1,000. So the metals are moving, guys. Pretty exciting times. But yes, portsmoutcoinshop.com. I appreciate everybody's business. I appreciate everybody's views on my videos. Try to make them fun. We're going to take a look at all these Morgan dollars here. Not every single one of them, but I mean, we're going to take a look at a lot of them. We're going to talk about grading, how we price these, what a deal, the problems dealers run into trying to sell some of this stuff, because a lot of it, like I showed you, there's rolls of them here that are problem coins. I didn't put them in the rolls. What I want to do. Do I separate them by grade and sell them as calls, as G, AG, and then fine to very fine, and then extra fine to AU, or, how do you do it? So that's something I have to tackle here. So I just want to tell everyone, you're watching this video, and if you would like to have a few calls, you can send an email or you can call the order number on the website and say, hey, I'd like to have, 10 pre-21 calls that I saw in the video. And we can do that for you. We can send you an invoice, no problem. Currently, I don't have them up on the site, but that is the plan. Probably not this week, but next week, definitely. I am going to put up some new ungraded Morgans. Today, I'm going to try to anyway. So let's take a look first at the AGs. So this is what I would consider AG. Some of these, though, might be right on the border. They might be really close. And this is why I think it's really important that coins need to be scanned for their depth, because then you would know more precisely the wear pattern on it. And over time, when you scan enough AGs and FR2s and G4s and G6, you can develop a database of how high the design should be for that grade. I think that is the future of grading using technology. This is a 96S, probably closer to G than AG. But when I see the rims worn down, that's what I put on these. So it's real, like I said, it's really close, really nitpicking here on these. But you have to think there is an area right in between AG3 and G4. Some coins will fall in that category. And you have to determine that. So, like I said, I was really conservative on all of these. And see, this is closer to what I would consider a definite AG. Just the rims are worn. And once you go through coin after coin after coin, and I may regrade these, I may look at these again and maybe separate them and compare them, because no one is perfect. When you're human grading and you go through coin after coin after coin, like these coin, the rim's worn up here, but it's not down here. And then you go back to one of these and you look at the reverse and it's worn down. And then the obverse is worn down. So you still have some partial rims worn, some rims that are not. And you run into that when you're grading. And it's hard to determine because you're looking at the coin, you're like, boy, that looks like a G4 to me. But then you look at the rims are really worn down on one side. Then you turn it over and you're like, see, look, the rims, no rims on the reverse hardly at all. So that's an AG reverse. So sometimes you've got a different grade for one side and the other side. So then you have to go in the middle, which there's no middle between AG and 3 and G4. There's just no grade in the middle. So you can say it's AG3 plus, or you can do a dual grade, but you just have to settle on a grade. And that's what a lot of the grading companies will have to do. So anyways, there's the AGs, kind of give you an idea. And then we're going to pick up the Gs, the goods, and you can see if you can discern differences from memory, just from what I was showing you with those. And they're going to look almost the same because they're only 1 point difference. When you determine like certain things, the height, there's a little bit of hair. That's what I used as my determination to bump it from AG3. Is there's a little bit of the hairline. And that's how I did it. Some of these would be G6. Maybe some of these might even be considered VG. So it depends on the grader. Like this one here has got a scratch across it and a little bit of a rub here. Maybe that needs to be in the calls. Here's another one. It's got a few marks on it. But it has the hairline details. Even though some of the rim is worn, especially up here a little bit, it's still got enough of the denticles. So I'm going to call it G. This one probably closer to VG. G6 maybe. So you got G6, but we don't use G7, but we jump to V8. So you're always going to have the coins that's in the middle of that. And that's what I try to tell people. It's very difficult to grade. And when it comes to some coins, that little difference matters. 89cc, it's going to matter. A 93S Morgan dollar, it's going to matter. So you have to know, and you have to be very careful about that. And all of these are common dates, so you can kind of get by with being off a little bit because they're not going to be worth a lot more because one's a higher grade than the other one's by a mark or two, by a grade or two. So this is the G. Like I said, I went with on the hairline. If I had a little bit of a hairline, there's a little bit up there at the top. I went ahead and put it in the G category. That's how I did those. So that's the difference for me. As you can see, none of these have much of that hairline. This one does a little bit. You might be able to get by with that one being G. And that one. There's a few of them. See, it's very difficult to determine sometimes. But I went with rim wear as well. Part of the rim's worn down like flat like that. I'm going to put it in the AG3. And I have another roll of the good. Same thing there. And believe me, there's other areas to grade the Morgans. It's not just about the hair. You've also got the cotton leaves. Also, you have this area here, which is high points. So this is what I considered VG. And you're trying to look through all of these. And like I said, not every one of them looks the same for the grade. There are a lot that do and some that don't. So these would be, it's a 94. It's a little better date and mint. And here's the VGs. As you can see, there's just a little bit more detail on them. But I do this all the time. I don't know how many Morgan dollars and coins in general that I've graded over time. Now, this one here could be a G6. Maybe I went a little too high on this one. Sometimes it's a 92O, and that makes a difference. It's 92S, and especially 92S, you want to make sure you grade it correctly. This one is right there on the edge. Same with this one here. So you got to look at other areas as well. You got to also see, look at the rims worn. This one's probably more like a G. So I might have to change my mind on that one and put it in the G category. Here's another VG. It's a 78. It's got enough of the denticles. Reverse has got the details. Got some cuts on it though from in the past. They're older. It's another. They're really nice though. I mean, they're nice original coins. I picked the ones that I felt were the least messed with. Because like I said, I found a lot of what I consider messed with. That's another one, probably more like a G. In the G6 range, I mean, it's man, I don't know. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to have to, like I said, revisit some of these. And sometimes, though, I might put them in the wrong pile. That's another thing. You're sitting here with all these coins in front of you, and sometimes I'll even mark the piles as G, VG, so that I don't put them in the wrong pile. But sometimes you still accidentally do that. So there's the VGs, or at least most of them are VGs. Then you got the fine. This one's really tough because some of these might be very fine 20 or fine 19 or 18. So you start running into that issue. So this got a little bit of album toning on this one here. I like that patina for a coin that has been circulated. This one here is real close. Definitely fine 15. It's probably what the grading company would settle on if they were grading it. But the problem is that it's so close. I mean, you wish that they would have some more of the grades. They would use more of the grades. There's another one. This is more like a fine 12, maybe a very good 10. You're looking for a little bit of depth here over the ear is one thing. It's not just that, but there's other things. There's other areas of details. You're seeing more hairlines, more depth down in here in the curls, hair curls. Of course, on the reverse, you're not seeing a lot more details. It's just the reverse is such a different design, different relief. That's a solid fine 12, fine 15. But see, some of these would be weak struck and could possibly make very fine 20. But like I said, it's in between fine 15 and fine 19 or VF 20. We just don't use enough of the grades, and it'd just make it more complicated if we did. This one's real close. It's a very good 10, 11, 12. I mean, you got to think for a minute. It's fine 12, but you still have a very good 11 that's not used. So that makes it difficult to grade when you've got all those slight points. And someone described it to me like being a butcher. When you are carving steaks and certain cuts from the side of a cow, you literally have areas where the porterhouse and the ribeye and all that are kind of touching, or they're right next to each other. So you have to determine where that cut ends and where the other cut begins. And they have charts. I've seen charts in butcher shops. I worked in a grocery store when I was in college. So definitely I've seen the charts, but yeah, like I said, there are crossover. There is that border area where you have to decide, okay, I've cut all the ribeyes off here. I've cut all the porterhouse, So there's your fines. So you do have to make that decision. It's a professional decision. Then we'll go to very fines, and very fines are the most problematic. As you can see, I have a bunch of very fines. I'm not going to go through all of these. Some of these, like I said, very fine 20 all the way up to very fine 39. Think about that. That is a lot of different grades and a lot of different values amongst all those grades. So I'm confident in very fine 35 for this, very fine 30 for this, 25, very fine 20, maybe even fine 15. Like I said, it's all about looking at all the details and the wear patterns, things like that on these coins. This one, you're looking at probably very fine 30. But then what about very fine 26, 27, 28, 29? You've got all those in between, so you have to settle on one or the other. And they're, talk about 4 or 5 points apart. But to say this, I put them all just in very fine, and then I'll have to look, really scrutinize them, and to put a value on them. And that's one of the struggles as a coin dealer. You have to determine what value you're going to put on it, because you've got to determine what point value. So you have to know how to grade as a coin dealer. If you don't know how to grade and you just put very fine on everything, and very fine 20 is worth $100 less than very fine 30, or even a lot more than that, then you can lose money or undersell it, or you can even oversell it by overgrading it. And you definitely don't want to do that. That's the one thing I don't want to do. I would rather underdo it and maybe even lose a little bit of possible profit than to overgrade it, and then someone later on find out that maybe I was a little too liberal. So this one here is really close, very fine 20. It's trying to give you an idea of the different very fines, but it's not going to be easy because I'm not going to go through all of these. So we're going to move on to the extra fine, because we can get so involved in the very fines that we could talk, that's a whole video. As you can see, I've got 3 rolls of those. One roll of extra fines. There wasn't a whole lot of extra fines. So some of these might look AU to some people, and some of these might look very fine 35 to some people. But you're looking for a little bit of mint luster potentially on a very fine, unless it's really toned. Some people might think, oh, that's very fine. But see, it had the luster. It has the depth down here and the high points up here. So that's why I also look for a little bit of the breast feathers at the bottom, because you start seeing that, and then you know that you're in the extra fine range, sometimes even the AU range. But you can see the difference. You can see how the grades progress, at least in my brain, how they progress. But you need to know the high points of the design. You need to understand weak strikes as well as wear and what it looks like. You need to know the details of the coin. You know, a lot of practice, a lot of looking at photo grade. I have a photo grade right behind me. Don't think I didn't use it. It's always good to have reference points, other graded coins. It's very important when you're going through all of these, especially being a person who's selling coins. You want to grade your coins properly. You don't want to sell clean coins as problem-free coins. You want to disclose all information about a coin if it has a scratch, if it has an issue. You don't want to hide that fact. That is unscrupulous to do that. Now, like I said, if I put up stock photos or basically a random R pick, I can put up very fines, and for common dates, not worth a lot more. If they're very fine 25 to very fine 35, I feel comfortable doing that because I know that I'm going to send someone what they're getting. They're going to get a very fine pre-21. It's not going to be cleaned if I say it's not clean. So I don't feel, wrong in using stock photos in that sense, because a lot of these I'm going to have to do something. I'm going to have to sell a few of them. A lot of people don't come in the coin shop here and look for just any Morgan dollars. There's a few, but not very many. So we can accumulate a lot, just like we have. So there's your extra fine. And then we can progress to the AU. And like I said, there's AU 59. There's AU 50. Looks like it's got a little bit of the cleaning on that one there. So that's probably one of them I'm going to have to sell, as a proof-like, but cleaned. Here's a reverse. Got some die file lines on it, maybe even some clean lines, but it's a really nice 89. A lot of reflectivity to that. Nice little auction item. Let everybody decide what they want to pay for it. A lot of these are going to be beat up because they are AU, but they have enough details, but they've been circulated a little bit. Some of these may be considered to be extra fine, but you want to see breast feathers, definitely. Now, obviously, there's weak strikes. At this point makes it problematic between AU and MS60. But these are what I determined as AU. I won't look at the mint states because it's just, I've did a video on AU 59 and MS 60 and how to tell the difference. But you can see the progression of the coins here. I'm pretty close on most of these when it comes to what they are. And then sometimes I second guess myself. Sometimes like I said, you can throw one in their own pile. There's just different variables that happen. You just got to be organized and watch what you're doing and be very careful about what you're looking at on the coin and not liking it so much that you want it to grade higher or see the value jumps in a certain grade and want to bump it to AU whenever it's really an extra fine. Human nature's there. You just have to fight it. But then here are what I consider the calls. Now, this one, a lot of people might consider it's a problem-free coin, but it is not. It has some scratches here, and it's wiped. You can see the reverse of it. It started to tone back a little bit, but I think it just has to go in that realm of being a coil, or at least a clean coin, lightly wiped. This one's a polished coin. There's no denying that one. And that's just a few of them that I picked out of here. Some people put these up on and put bright light on it. See if I can do that here. They'll take a picture like that and they'll say proof like, and people will buy it, and then they'll get it and it looks like this. I mean, it happens all the time, and I know it does, and that's not capitalism, okay? That's not free market. That's fraud. You're being fraudulent when you make someone think something is something different than what it is. It's a lie. So you can justify it. Some people will try to justify it in the comments. It's not. See the lines on that? It's not that these are ugly or horrible. Some of them are. Don't get me wrong. A coin like this is so polished. Maybe I'll do a roll of just polished coins. Man, I won't even focus on it. See if I can get back in. Yeah, see the light reflects in that. It fools the camera no matter what you do. I know I can put it on fixed, but I like the autofocus. So anyways, we can tell that's polished. Here's one that's not too bad. Some people be like, why did you determine that was in the calls or the cleans? Well, it has that line all the way across it. Someone's going to see that, and they're going to ask me, and I'm going to tell them that it's not. Looks like it's an O over O, maybe. Sometimes it's hard to tell whenever they're circulated, but it's common. All these are VAMs. They're all, every Morgan dollar is a VAM. The scratches, that's obvious there. This one here is really worn. Little wipe to it. So I do have all of these you can see here that are calls, clean, low grade, like this one here. This one I threw in here just because it's so worn. Someone still might like this for the collection. You might be able to pass this as problem free. Just really worn. Some of these make nice pocket pieces. I mean, over time, if you had this in your pocket, is it possible that it could wear down enough to where it wouldn't be a problem coin? It's possible. I mean, like I said, it's all about the wear, because if you wear it down to this, it can't be polished anymore because you're going to remove the polished area, right? I don't know. I mean, it's possible. This one looks nice, but look down here. This is one of the things that I looked at. It has some of the darker area and a lighter area where this has been cleaned a little bit. But some people would say that's problem free to them. They'd be okay with that. And then here's another one. This is kind of a whizzed coin here. You can see the lines. You don't always see lines on whiz coins, though. You can polish these out where they don't have no lines on them. You've obviously saw the polished ones. And here's kind of beat up a little bit. Just a little too much for my taste. So there you have one of the jobs that I tasked myself with and wanted to share my grading and how I do it, the struggles of valuing and grading coins so that you're being completely honest and transparent about the values. This is the only way I'm going to do it. I'm just not going to buy lots and rolls of Morgan dollars and separate them by what looks like they're grade, no matter what condition they are, and just sell them like some of these other companies do. I can't do that to people. I won't do it to people. I won't manipulate the images. If I say it's very fine, it's going to be very fine. If I say it's clean, it's clean. If I say it's not, more than likely it's not. I'm not saying I'm 100%. You're never 100%. You can always make a mistake. And if you make a mistake, I always make it right. We do no questions, refunds. So anyways, thanks for watching my latest video. Please like, share, and comment, and have a great day.